Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Graz bringing you another review once again, and this time we're going to take a look at Civilization 5. Now, Civilization 5's been out for a while now. Actually, it has its own expansion pack, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to talk about the base game right now, which is available on the Steam network. Of course, you've already seen at the bottom that it's on there for $49.99, which is still basically the price it started off with. So it's still doing a pretty good job of selling on the Steam network. Now, Civilization 5 is boasting some new things. Things like improved diplomacy. You'll see that with things such as city-states, which weren't seen before in previous models. A different presentation. Now, the one thing I'll state beforehand, getting into further in this game, is that the video in the beginning of the game is quite a pain in the ass. Now, there are ways to disable it, but none of them is supported by the developer. So it becomes quite a pain in the ass to get past that video. If you choose to find out how to get rid of it, then it would make it a little bit more enjoyable. But other than that, you can sit back and wait and watch the video play over and over and over again. Now, that's the other thing. Civilization 5 is got a lot more modability to it, you could say. There's definitely a lot more mods available out on its network. You can go on there at the main menu and go down to mods and search online for different types of mods, whether they be civilization mods, map mods, even AI mods are on there. So you just have to go on and look around. Now, with the improved diplomacy, there are some different things in there that you haven't seen in previous models. It takes a little while to play around and get used to. The AI for some of the computer players, it's a little bit tricky. On a recent patch, it looks like they may have fixed it to where it's more upfront. When the game first came out, there was no such thing telling you what the computer was up to. For instance, it wouldn't tell you if they were hostile or not. You had to basically take their discussion for what it was. Sometimes that meant you misinterpret some of them things as being, for instance, aggressive. They may have done something friendly that could have been misinterpreted wrong. But they cleaned that up and they made it a little bit more easier for people to determine what the computer is up to. Now, this is a real-time strategy game, as you've seen, but it's more turn-based. Some of these matches can go on for quite a while. And by quite a while, I mean probably a couple of hours. The fastest way probably to win would probably be through dominance, to go around and conquer your different players. And even still, that's going to take some time. You really don't see the AI attack much early on. But if you don't have a big enough army, they will attack you and they will destroy you pretty quick. They do have a pretty good feel about how you run your civilization. And they aren't afraid to tell you how they feel about it. And especially if your army's not big enough, they will roll you pretty quick. So I guess that's another way to play a quick game if you really say, fuck it, I'm done playing. After a while, it just gets a bit boring. It's interesting the first few times around once you play it, and it can be pretty fun at first. But this is definitely one of those games where in a matter of time, you're like, okay, yeah, this is getting boring. It's a bit of the same on the multiplayer. You have to find your windows of opportunity and attack early, because if not, you could be out for a long stretch game that's going to take a couple of hours to play. Unless you want to get your opponent to forfeit through boredom. Then again, I guess that could be another way to win in a multiplayer match. I have yet to try a multiplayer. To be honest, I don't even know if I have the time to try multiplayer the way it goes. I have a hard enough time with the CPU right now, going on between 3 to 4 hour matches. This is actually a game I haven't picked up in a while. It was interesting at first, and I've got through about a dozen or so matches, but then it wears off. The long matches they tend to wear on you after a while, and you kind of say, oh geez, not that again. And here we have a model of what the new fix for the diplomacy screen looks like, as you didn't have that before. That was simply just, it wasn't there. You basically had to go with the white text that said, and you had to figure it out on your own. Now in this case, it's pretty clear what they're getting at, but like that, it wasn't there before. It's basically a neutral saying, and you had to say, okay, could I be a friend with this guy, or could I be an enemy with this guy? It just simply wasn't there before. But all in all, it's not a bad game. I mean, it starts off pretty interesting, but it all depends. If you don't mind a lot of longevity, then you'll stick with the game. You'll love it. But after a while, it does tend to drag on, and it just loses interest really quickly. Now, there's various different ways you can win at this game, ranging from cultural to conquest to scientific. There's many paths you can take. The choice is up to you. But like I stated, the quickest one would probably be conquest. The slowest might be cultural. I don't know. It's not something I intend to find out. It's actually hard enough as it is right now trying to go through conquest. People who know how to hit their opponent early and often will probably find faster games. That's probably the best advice you can give anyone. And another thing I would like to point out is that you still have your advisors in the game. But this time around, I've actually heard more people say that the advisors may tend to hurt you more than they help you. They're not as helpful as they were previously if you found them helpful before. It's just, they don't do all that much. Your opponent AIs are completely random. For one moment, they may like you, and for the next, all of a sudden, they may be ready to go to war. Now, with the new patch, it may explain a little bit more to you and tell you why that swing is. I'm not sure. But it is nice to see they had put that in a patch. Well, I would like to give this a good high rating. I think I'd probably give it about a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just, I believe the playability, or should I say the replayability, it's not really there. At least it's not really there for me. I guess it all depends on a person-to-person spec. If you like long games or long drawn-out games, then it could be for you. If not, then it'll be good at first, but then after a while you'll get bored with it and you'll move on. If somebody would like to try out the multiplayer, go for it. I've talked to a few people who've tried it out, and they said they've been in for some really long games that they really wish they hadn't have gone all the way through. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the review. Maybe you'll check out Civilization 5. And if you do, feel free, leave some comments on how you had a good experience or bad experience with it. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the video is appreciated. And if you like our videos, please subscribe. We can always use more subscribers. Take care, and I will see you next time.